One, it is I, Roman, and we are back with another episode of When in Rome. You're my Romanettes, you're in my circle, and here we are. When in Rome, the podcast where we discuss everything from the party scene in this upcoming parties, the thing happening in your amazing icon's life, right? The happenings now, and then we do like news world topics, American topics, local news topics, because you have to know, in this day and age, you need to know what's going on, right, Jason?
Exactly.
I've got Jason here from the podcast. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
And then this week we're dropping the second half interview of Beverly Chill. So if you saw the first one, you know everything about tongue scrapers and rat boys.
Tongue scrapers?
Yeah, girl, you gotta watch it.
Okay.
Yeah, apparently tongue scrapers are in.
Okay.
And then the second half we talk about like her dreams about DJing, where she just takes it, you know what I mean? She's already open for chaperone, like bitch, what's next? Yeah? No, chaperone. And then like we talk about her trans journey and all that, so stay tuned for that after the after the news recap. I want to say bon dia, boa tarde, and boa noite. So depending on when you stream this, I gave you a good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. From Brazil, because you know I was sucking dick. I was saying that, honey. Okay. Next week, we're going to be dropping our newest panel on being a party promoter, where we explore all things throwing parties. I sit down with a couple of my friends. If you ever want to know what it's like to throw a party in SF, definitely tune in next week. We talk about like egos, the costs, right, of throwing parties and how that's changed, and also how you feel when you've thrown a successful party, right? So stay tuned next week for that.
Yeah, sounds good.
So let's get into it, bitches. Are you ready, Jason?
I'm ready.
I'm ready. Let's get our mood enhancers, please. On the count of 3, Deutsch, please. I was like, that's what I was like when I was rusting. Come on, 1, 2, 3 more times. And let's kiss ourselves. Okay, let's get to it. Happening since we last saw each other, so it was been interesting. It has been an interesting weekend. Did you have a good weekend?
I had a good weekend. I did.
I had a good weekend. It was a roller coaster. It was full of some really good ups and some interesting lows that I will talk about. Okay. But let's talk about let's say. Did you hear about the SF doctor who sued Waymo because it flagged him as a terrorist?
This story is crazy.
Yeah. So it's a highlight because I didn't want put it in the news section. Basically, I'll put the article in the show notes. The backstory is that a doctor, Nasser Mohammed, tried to use Waymo. Trying to sign up for Waymo and kept getting denied access or not being able to sign up. And he kept submitting tickets, trying to get to the company, but he couldn't ever get a live representative on the phone. You know what's so funny? When I was reading that, I was like, bitch, you should have just gotten to a car with somebody else and then had them do something like put their hand in the whatever, and they had them call and be like, hey, well, I got you here. I got a Dr. Nasser Muhammad, and he ain't been able to get a live representative, so can I talk to you? Shit. I would have kept doing it.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, hell yeah. And so basically, he literally, kept asking, couldn't get any whatever. So he finally filed a lawsuit just to kind of get their attention. And then when he filed the lawsuit, he found out that it was happening to other people, but then he got contact with some people at Waymo and told him that the reason he was getting his denied access is because his name, not his full name, by the way, but basically remnants of his name, Muhammad Nasser. Muhammad, by the way, Muhammad, the name of the Islamic prophet, that's like Jesus.
Very common.
Yeah, is on a watch list. And so basically, Waymo basically said that they work with their watch list that they get from the American government, and because parts of his name were on that, like there was a Nasser something, right, or there was a Muhammad something, right, not a Nasser Muhammad, but because of that, they denied him.
That's crazy.
That's fucking crazy.
I didn't know they racially profile people.
But it sounds like they do, and I love how anyway, the resolution was he dropped the lawsuit because the company, because he never really wanted money, he wanted visibility, and the company basically came up with a process that if it happens, right, then you can submit a ticket, or they have a process now where they can fix that, whereas before they couldn't. But what's interesting to me is the fix is not that we won't do this to people, right? The fix is no, if this happens to you, which basically is saying, if you parts of your fucking name, if you, Muhammad, which is basically Jesus, that's like saying John fucking Smith.
Right.
If your name is John Smith or some remnants or some collection of that, then you are going to be denied. And the only way that you will get access to Waymo is if you call them and they file this ticket and follow this process. That shows where we're at as a country.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy because we racially profile people here, not for other reasons, black people, obviously. Yeah. But the fact that they're doing this, it kind of makes me wonder what else they're doing.
And the fact that it's just like that, even with the public response is not, I'm sorry. The public response is not, we will not allow this to happen, that it shouldn't happen to anybody, regardless of whatever. The public response is, oh, well, because essentially the response is that because we use the word terrorism, right? Then it's basically okay to racially profile.
Right.
You know what I mean?
The public response is, we going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
And if you don't want us to target you, let it call us.
You know what I love? We have AI. This company has AI that can drive around the world and drive with nobody, but they can't cross-check some lists and say that, you know what I mean, and do a probability analysis of the amount of names out there, and then a doctor, and then, you know what I mean? Like, that's crazy that their brain trust goes to this thing, but they can't do a couple checks to make sure this person can get in.
Yeah, I mean, they got access to your payment information, so they could cross-reference that.
Yeah, they have access. You give them a lot of access. You know what I mean? Like, and they have the ability. First of all, why are you even going to the watch list? What terrorists? I guess because they don't want a terrorist to like put bombs in their Waymo or something. Like, girl, I don't. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. That's just such a weird thing. You know what I mean? Like, because I like, does Uber do that? Can you not get an Uber because your name is talking? You know what I mean?
I don't know. It's a good question.
It's a little interesting way. It's a weird kind of bench or like limit. It's a weird like security task, a security thing to put in. That just doesn't make sense. Anyway, we can move on. So I mentioned the highs and lows of my fucking life. So I want to run you through a night in the life of Roman, right? So a quick backstory. I put out this PSA on my social media a couple weeks ago about just how hard it can be for me to get space when I'm out in public, right? In the community, whatever, right? Because I'm everyone's friend, and sometimes trying to manage all those friendships and relationships and expectations can be exhausting and overwhelming. Like when they say the word celebrity, like local celebrity, like it's for whatever that word is, I'm it, whether it's good or bad, right? So like imagine when you sit down anywhere or you try to get a moment alone, right? And you got people coming up to you, asking you if you're okay, why are you sitting down? You know what I mean? Imagine what that would seem like that level of like visibility. You have people staring at you all the time. And just how like violating it could be and annoying, right? So I put out this PSA to kind of like give people my perspective or whatever. And since I've had that PSA, like, you know, it's been a pretty good responses, right? People recognizing what I'm saying. I can see people in the community trying to understand and give me that space, blah, blah, blah. And then we get to Sunday night. And I'm out with my friends, yada, yada, yada. And eventually all eyes come to me because, you know, I'm the moment. You know that, right? And so, but then I have one friend who just can't stop staring, right? And so I was like, all right, could you just give me a second to stop staring? No, I'm not. Oh, you're just not? You're just going to...
So your friend didn't want to stop staring at you?
Yeah, right?
Okay.
And so then I was like, okay, I'm going to walk away because I mean, like, this is what... And so then this friend followed me around the club. I literally had to start yelling, like, leave me alone. You know what I mean? Go away, give me space. No. And he literally followed me around the club 3 times. I went to the bathroom, and literally it took 3 or 4 people to get this person to stop following me around. This is not someone I'm fucking. This is not, I mean, the level of like obsession. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And so like, just imagine like how violating that is to ask someone to leave you alone. Do you know what I mean? And the crazy thing is, this is not the first time this has happened. And this is not like this, yeah, it's a friend, but this has probably happened 6 or 7 times to me where I've had people follow me around when I'm literally yelling at them to leave me alone, following me around, yelling at the top of their lungs, Roman, why don't you like me? Why don't you want to be my friend? So when I tell you that this happens to me, and it's like, imagine, I don't even know if I can explain the level of like weirdness that I deal with.
I mean, I can understand it because being a DJ, people, I guess I'm a local celebrity too. Yeah. And I think I have the opposite reaction. Like people stay away from me. They don't follow me. So, I mean, I guess my energy kind of gives off, give me space.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, like, I don't want, like, if you look at a lot of celebrities just sit in their white castles away from everybody. Right. And I don't want to live that life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't want to have to, like, be away from people or not feel like I can be around in public without being fucking violated. You know what I mean?
But I think the other thing about it is like just being realistic about the whole thing and realizing, like, people don't see you like that the way you want to be seen.
Yeah, but at the same time, that doesn't mean that I should be accepting of people following me and yelling and all that. You know what I mean? I understand. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know anyone else to deal with that. Like I say, imagine walking around and literally being followed, people streaming and drunkenly following you, yelling, "Why can't you be my friend?" You know what I mean? It's crazy. So anyway, that happens that night. Then we get to outside, and I have like a row of people yelling my name out the club, like, Roman, I want to go out. Where's the afters, whatever, drunkenly coming up and touching me without the consent. You know, imagine people coming coming up and like just jamming you, talking about Roman, where the party at, da 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 da, right?
That's crazy.
So I mean, like to the point that like it was crazy. So then I get into an Uber. So I need a loan to get some space. Go to a Kiki to be with my friends. I get out the Uber. The second I get out the Uber, Roman, someone runs up to me, jumps on me, and talks about how are you? There's the hug, where you been? You know what I mean? Like not a second. I go into the Kiki. Everyone's staring. You know what I mean? Like can't get a fucking space, right? So then I'm like, I'm gonna go home. But normally I would walk from this Kiki because it's 6 blocks away from my house, right? But I'm like, I don't need any more attention, whether it's good or bad. So let me just call a Waymo. I'm walking to the Waymo, and then someone yells out at me, "You bitch ass nigger." Like to the PS.
Somebody you knew or somebody?
No, this was
just a random.
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, no, I don't know who knew. I'm just saying, like, it's nobody on the street. A car pulls up. I walk by it. I walk to the right, and then they yell out "bitch ass nigger." So it was just like the pièce de la resistance. You know what I mean?
That's
like
crazy.
one night. You know what I mean? And like I said, the only reason I share this is because when you see me out and I am completely shut down, or I tell you I need space, or I don't want to be touched, or maybe I'm not as enthusiastic or ebullient or whatever, is because remember that this is most likely as something like this has happened to me before I saw you. You know what I mean?
I mean, it just sounds like people don't have situational awareness.
My God, whatever it is, it has an interesting and deleterious effect on my psyche and my whatever. And so, but I'm also part of this podcast is to talk about me and talk about my experience, you know what I mean? And also so people understand, like, if you see me out and there's moments where I don't want to fucking be touched, bothered, or whatever, or I'm hyper reactive to whereas the day before I was not, then remember this conversation. Remember?
You shouldn't even have to tell people I don't want to be touched. Like, that's just a consent thing.
Hello. But that's not that, SF just has a problem with that anyway. You know what I mean? They just reach out and touch you regardless. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But yeah, I just wanted you guys to know, like, good or bad, this is what it's like to be a local celebrity.
Yep.
Anyway, let's talk about Memorial Day. It's coming up. Do you have any plans?
Not specifically for Memorial Day, but that weekend, we'll talk about it later.
Okay, but I mean, because you're DJing. I know that I'm hosting a couple parties, which is not going to do anything with this whole celebrity and famous thing. Right. Because I want you to come to my party.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said, there's like highs and lows. I had some incredible highs this weekend. Do you know what I mean? There's, I love parts of it. I love parts of my life, and then just really parts of my life that are interesting.
It's a gift and a curse.
It's a gift and a motherfucking curse. I hope you guys have a good Memorial Day. And with that, let's go to one of my new additions to the podcast, where we talk about what really grinds my motherfucking girdles. And for anyone who actually knows me, I wear a girdle. So, you know what I mean? When I say something about grinds my motherfucking girdles, I'm actually talking about the girdle that I'm wearing. Not right now, but the one I'll probably be wearing tomorrow night. Do you know what really grinds my motherfucking girdles, Jason?
What?
Fucking data centers, right? Like, can we just keep building these motherfucking data centers and building and building and building, even though every fucking day I'm reading another fucking article, you know what I mean? Which means that if I'm reading these articles now, they knew about this shit years ago, but I'm reading another article about the impacts on the environment, the impacts on water, the impacts of, air quality, all this fucking shit. And we just keep fucking building it. But then I you know what I mean? Because this is my problem. So like, I put a couple articles in the show notes, and there's one article that talks about how Australia is moving to make data centers fund new wind and solar projects. And my first reaction was like, what the fuck, duh? Like, that's what's crazy to me is that we are allowing these fucking data centers to be built, knowing that we have energy crisis issues, right? Just in general. The grid can't even handle, look at Texas, those deaths and, because of the storm. The grid can't handle, anyway, we have lack of water everywhere. So we put them all over the South and the Southwest, knowing that the fucking water, you know what I mean? Like, we ain't got no motherfucking water, right? We they have the diesel engines, so they have bad air quality, and we have Australia asking them to finally like fund or build their own energy capacity. I don't understand how that's not a fucking factor. If you want to build a data center, you need to have your own energy and it needs to be clean. I
know, just put solar panels out. I mean, like, but even if you do have a renewable energy source, that doesn't impact the water intake.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like that too, like you know what I mean. Like why are we allowing? Because we could use the greediness of corporations, for our benefit. If you say that in order to build a data center, you can only use a finite amount of water. And you know what I mean? That we would be leaps and bounds on water conservation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if they had to make 100 gallons work, you know what I mean? I bet you they could, but they don't care because we keep just giving them as much water as they want.
Or put a tax on excessive water. use.
I think any water use they get is excessive because we don't even have enough water. You know what I mean? We literally, I just read an article about how they're going to make cuts of 40 to 50% from the Colorado River to all 3 states, California, Arizona, and New Mexico. So we don't even have enough water because of drought conditions for what we got now.
Yeah.
So we don't have any water to give to them. But if we told them you could use maybe like the equivalent of a day or 2 of water and that's all you get or something like that, you know what I mean? I bet you they would find a way to make that water recycle, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? And keep using the same amount of water. You know what I mean? The problem is we don't like that. Or like I said, with energy, if we said that you have to be able to fund and bring your own clean and renewable energy to the data center, we would have have advances in energy, you know what I mean? New energy so fucking quick.
Right.
Because it will be tied directly to profits. You know what I mean? If you think these fucking data centers are so fucking important to our survival, right? Because the thing that gets me is that we use this impending or this war with China, as the reason why we have to build all these things now, because the future is, we need to get to something before China. First of all, can we all just say that there is not going to be a war between China and America? Our economies are so fucking, so fucking connected. Yeah. If there was a war, we would stop buying things from China. If we stop buying things from China, their economy would go bankrupt. Right. You know what I mean? If they stop making things for us, our economy would go bankrupt. Mm-hmm. There is no way that we're going to have a war. You know what I mean? We are so like this, but they use the term of an impending war and impending, you know what I mean? We have to be the first one to a technology, because if we don't, then China is going to rise and destroy us as a reason to just destroy the universe.
I mean, they always lie about that stuff.
Yeah, and they use the concept of this military, this impending military whatever, as an excuse to just do whatever they want. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But my thing is, we should be tying this. If you want this so fucking bad, and you guys are so fucking intelligent and so great, then in order for a new data center, you need to make it environmentally sound. You need to make it not use water or any more water, and you need to make it have its own energy.
Or they can maybe add a desalination plant, because there's so much water in the ocean. Why does it have to be fresh water that they use? They could do other stuff. I mean, it doesn't have to be what they're doing now.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, and if we made it a feature, not like an incentive, but we made it say that instead, in order for you to build this data center, you need to have this, then we would have that, because look how they spend $70 billion at Meta trying to make a fucking virtual technology happen. So they could have been using that $70 billion to figure out water conservation and fucking solar panels for these data centers.
Yeah, I mean, we need to actually get politicians that aren't tied to these people too, because that's part of the problem. They are being caught up in basically getting bribes, from the lobbyist about all that stuff. The AI people, Sam Altman, Anthropic, these companies, they're in bed.
And this is why they all went with Trump. This is why they're all this is why they went to China. You know what I mean? This is why, with Trump, this is why they went to the inauguration. They're funding the fucking East Ballroom, and then smiling in our face and saying, oh, well, we have to do it because Trump's a tyrant. No, you're doing it so that, because that Trump won't have regulations like this. Right. You know what I mean? There's an article that I'm putting in the show notes about the impact of sound, right? They're living about these fucking things, as they have these sounds that are under human hearing, but they're still infrasound, and they're affecting people, causing nausea, vomiting, vertigo. I'm sure it's going to be causing things like multiple sclerosis or cancer or whatever.
Yeah, long-term effects we have no idea about.
Yeah, and now we're not studying, because we build these things, and then we start to see that they're having issues, and we just say fuck it and keep building them. If we, remember that Havana syndrome where we thought those American agents were getting infected by infrasound? We know that it can cause issues with people. Yep. So now we're going to do this, and we're going to fuck up a whole generation of people of color, because it's always people of color.
It's always in a non-white neighborhoods.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Or areas. And plus, it's the people that are affected, immediately, they're experiencing lower water pressure, the air quality is fucked up, like we said. And so there's definitely a lot of negative effects coming from these things. I mean, there's just really no legislation around it.
Right. And what legislation there was that has been either loosened or gutted by the Trump administration, or just not enforced. And we need even more of it. And this is why the tech industry is trying to get so in bed with the government now, before we have another president. So, because it'll be hard to get them out. But it's just crazy to me. You want to talk about Tahoe?
Yeah, I was just going to say, there was a story about a power company in Tahoe that's basically telling all the residents that they were supplying energy to find somebody new, because next year they're going to have to go with another company because this energy company is going to supply all their energy to data centers.
You heard that right, folks. The electricity company for Tahoe, white ass, rich ass Tahoe. When I read the article, I was thinking, damn, it's going to be like Montgomery, Alabama. No, it's where white rich people live in Tahoe. That is how much power the data centers and the corporations have. They don't give a fuck if white rich people are affected. They literally just told these people, hey, we're shutting off your electricity because that electricity is going to be for the data center. Right? Like, and the town is like, well, we don't have electricity. And in the article, they like the electricity company's like, well, this was already planned. I'm sure this was not planned. Data centers have only been popular for like the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
This couldn't have been planned. And can you imagine being Tahoe? Like, how do you just find other electricity?
Yeah.
Where do you go to just say, like, okay, like I need to power a town? Who do I call to?
It's not like a lot of options.
Right. And I know it takes longer than a year, especially in California, girl. It takes, like, in California, the environmental review of the power company would take a year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's crazy that, and this is rich ass Tahoe. That is crazy. That shows you how much power that they are willing to fuck up Tahoe, rich people, and deal with their complaints. And that shows you power, because normally they don't fuck with rich white people.
Right.
And I hate fucking data centers, especially when all we have these data centers being built for is so that people can go on there and fucking say, I'm lonely, and get help with that. You know what I mean? Because therapy is too fucking expensive.
Yeah. I mean, it's got its pros and cons, but this is definitely one of the cons.
Yeah.
And huge con.
AI is like out for me. Like, you know what I mean? If you want, there's some use cases out there, but there is generally no use case for me for AI that makes it worth its impact on the environment.
Yeah.
So I'm trying not to use it at all.
I agree with you.
And with that, let's go to talk about something a little bit more fun, like parties. Oh my God. Sorry, guys. I hit that weed vaping. Woo, Jesus. I can say weed vape because it's illegal here. Thank God. We're going to go to the party review section, girl. And we're back with party reviews. So both Jason and I went to some parties this weekend. Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, let me start. I went to Young Hearts at the Eagle, and I will just say the music were on point, and so were the men.
Okay.
Young Hearts is a party that when the music is good, it pops. Sometimes it's hit or miss with the music, but this past weekend, the weather was good, the music was on point, the vibes was good, the the men were good. Girl, I had a good time.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
What'd you do on Saturday?
Saturday I went to Beat Pig at Powerhouse.
How was that?
It was cute. Yeah, it was cute. It was a little slow. I think like maybe some people were over at Young Hearts. So
Did you beat your pig?
I found the one guy that we had a little fun.
So you beat his pig. Maybe you beat him, or maybe he beat you and called you a pig. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know what your kinks are.
We had fun.
Okay. He called you babe. Anyway, so I went to Dayton Rental Center Rio on Sunday.
How was that?
It was actually really good. The music was amazing. Our friend DJ Sergio played, and like it was just like daytime rentals, boneless parties when the music is like up tempo and like really good. It was it was very cute boys there.
Yeah.
I was one of them.
I believe it.
But yeah, the weather was on point. I like it because it was. I actually went to 2 really good parties this weekend.
Cool. I went to Marshall's Beach yesterday too. Monday.
How was that?
That was so cute. The weather was great. A lot of cute boys.
Everyone always goes to Marshall's Beach on a Monday, and that's my problem with SF. Like the weekend will be great, but then Monday will always be like the best day weather-wise.
The best fucking weather.
And I'm always like, girl, I'm crashing on Monday. Like I'm recovering. You know what I mean? I very rarely make it out on a Monday because why? Hot mess, and I need to sleep. All right, let's talk about what's going on, what's coming up with parties. We have Locker Room Thursdays, Hair Flip. I'm hosting. I'll see you this Thursday. Thursdays can be fun up to that Bow Now. They're definitely fun. So maybe I'll see you there.
Okay. Yeah, I might stop by.
Music's hot. DJ Aki, the boys are hot. You know what I mean? I'm hot. You know what I mean? So once again, this is where I lean into my celebrity while someone complaining about it. But hey. And then on 522 at Decadence, Hard Reset does a little like pop up there every once a month. This is a cute little loungy bar. It was really cute. The music is fierce. It's, you know what I mean? It's just like a cute place to go on a Friday night if you want to stop by before going to a party or maybe after or whatever. Definitely show up. On 523, you're performing at Lick It, yeah?
Yeah, at Powerhouse. So yeah, make sure you come by. It's always a fun night.
Please go by and lick something.
Yeah.
Maybe Jason, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you gotta make them eyes with him while he's behind the counter. It'd be like, meet me in the alleyway. Ooh, put on a track. On 5/23, I'm actually hosting a party at Bo, so it's gonna be a lot. You can come lick me there at Bo, then go to Bow Wow and lick him. You know what I mean? There's a lot of licking that could be going on.
A whole lot of licking.
And and they are really close, baby. So you know what I mean? You guys just drink water. You know what I mean? As long as you hydrate, you can lick both of us.
Yeah.
And everyone else that's out there consensually. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm
Consent.
I'm hosting a party, Bo. It's gonna be some really good Brazilian circuit, fierce DJs, hot boys. On 5/23 at the Eagle, there's Dad Hunt. So basically, it's like Dad SF DJs at the Eagle. So that could be cute. The weather's been nice, so you know. At 5:30 at Q Bar, there's Crave, which is DJ Kid. He throws sex tapes. He's doing like another party, and I guess this edition's at Q Bar.
Yeah,
which is kind of cute.
Yeah, and 5:30, I'm going to be at Driftwood with my friend Frankie Max. We're going to do a party called Dirty Talk. Excuse me. So yeah, come over and
do you like Dirty Talk?
I do like Dirty Talk.
Okay, yes, you do, bitch. That got real. I was about to be like, what does it sound like when you do? I do like Dirty Talk. Okay, yeah, I like it. Right.
I like it a lot.
I can hear it. I can hear you have a voice that you have a tone that when you switch into that tone real quick. That was practice. Okay, that is not new. Okay,
it is not. It is not.
That's hilarious. I think one day we're gonna do a mic check with you doing Dirty Talk. That's hilarious. Okay, so then to hear some Dirty Talk from Jason Godfrey on 5:30, go to Driftwood. On 6/5 at the Stud, Gemini is back with another edition. And then
6/5 also Friday, the SF Queer Art and Music Festival. I'm going to be at Swig starting at 10.
What is the SF Queer Arts and Music Festival?
It's a festival up from, let's see here, May 31st to June 7th, spread across 11 venues. The Electrolux guys are putting it on, so I don't have the full schedule, but
I'll put the link in the show notes so people can look it up if they want to go. That's kind of cool. SF Queer Music Festival. I am an SF Queer Music Festival. Like, bitch, well, you know what I mean? Like, that's fine. I already have my. You know, they don't have the codes. You know what I mean? If I went there, it'd be too many people, bitch. You know, I'm joking. I might see you guys there. And with that, let's go to break, and we'll talk about world news. God damn, I be hitting this blunt. And we're back with world news. We talked about that. When I have like a really dark headline, I shouldn't be like world news. Okay, so and we're back with world news. It's more like CBS 60 Minutes. You know what I mean? Than she's all that. Anyway, Ebola deaths rise. See what I mean? Ebola deaths rise sharply as outbreaks scale and speed worry the WHO chief. So the article synopsis. At least 131 people have died and 531 are affected so far by a strain of Ebola that has no current vaccine or treatment available. This disease is spreading in the Central African area, which is rife with civil war and other societal instabilities that together can hamper AIDS efforts. Also, what is affecting AIDS efforts is the cutting of USA aid, as well as pulling out of the WHO by the U.S., as well as reduce the reduction of funding from other countries. Although the U.S. has said it would send funding and equipment for up to 50 local Ebola centers, and the State Department has said that there should be no impacts because of USAID being cut. Experts on the ground have said that the funding cuts from the US and other wealthy countries have definitely affected the efforts to fight the disease, like having people, for example, in the country that could work with the Republic of Congo, that maybe have intimate knowledge about the health infrastructure and then can help when you need an influx of money and blah 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 at certain places. That kind of knowledge would be invaluable at a time like this, which you don't have with the cuts.
Right.
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, like the way, as I read the article, the way this is transmitted doesn't really concern me on a personal level, but it is concerning because what if something else happens? I mean, we all know that Trump removed us from the World Health Organization. That was one of his first actions in his second term. The U.S. aid being cut is also like, this is just cruel. Like, why are we cutting funding when we have enough to offer to people? And, like we were talking in the break about how much money we spend on military. And it just seems so cruel and unfortunate that this is like how I'm going to say how they've chosen to go about, just fucking people over.
Right. I really want to highlight this article because I wanted to highlight the impact of like cutting the aid and what that and those funds and what that does when outbreaks like this happen. Like, I'm not worried about Ebola, just like I'm not worried about the hantavirus in the sense that, like, you know what I mean? We've known about those viruses and the way that they, the transmission, the way that they, we get transmission from them is not, going to get to us. You know what I mean?
It's not airborne.
It's by fluids, yada, 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 right? Blood, yada, yada, yada. But what's interesting in this article is that, they specifically say on the ground that our funding cuts have hampered their ability to deal with these kind of things, to address them, and so my question then becomes like, what happens when there is a disease that is a problem? Do you know what I mean? Because when those diseases start, they start in these countries that we cause the issues for. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the other thing that really gets me is that, like, we need to start thinking about these from the global north standpoint, these funds as aid, and think it as reparations, because we are the reason that these diseases are coming. Because it's us funding these corporations that are cutting into the trees in the jungle, and then we get exposed to new diseases or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's us, you know what I mean, and our corporations and our policies as a country that keep these countries from being able to take care of themselves, get you know what I mean, have governments that can even take care of their people, have the knowledge, you know what I mean. We keep them from getting the knowledge. We've gone in and systematically, took all of their we'll say their the elements, or you know what I mean, or their oil, or the things that they could use, to enrich themselves. Right. We take all of that,
just extracted all that stuff,
and then we leave these countries with no ability to take care of themselves, and they're more vulnerable and exposed to these viruses because of the things that we did. Right. And then we're gonna cut the aid, girl. We caused this. Right. You know what I mean? This is reparations, bitch. This is not aid. You know what I mean? Or these diseases that these people are getting affected by because of climate change, because of the things that we directly did. You know what I mean, to affect the environment. Mm-hmm. So that's what really gets to me. That's why I really wanted to highlight this, because the aid cuts that we talked about have a direct impact on how countries handle disease outbreaks. And just like COVID, that started in Wuhan. Do you know what I mean? And so if luckily China is a pretty rich country, and even with China being a rich country and doing all that, it still affected the world, right? So imagine if some disease starts in the Republic of Congo or some African nation where we've cut off funding, and so now they have no doctors, no epidemiologists, no whatever around, and then like the problem with this Ebola outbreak is that it went undetected for weeks. Yeah. You know what I mean? Which probably wouldn't have happened if we had USAID and we had funding in there. And what's also interesting is that a lot of other countries have cut their funding. And so I just think they use the United States as cover, because that's kind of all you hear about in the world is, you know what I mean, the United States cutting funding and the impact. But a lot of other wealthy countries are doing it too. And none of us should. This is not fucking aid. It's reparations.
It's our health.
It's directly affecting our health. Like, if you know what I mean, if everyone is so worried about this, why are the other countries cutting funding and not putting more funding in? Yep. You know what I mean? Like, everyone is talking shit about Trump, but they're also kind of doing similar things.
Yeah, I mean, and like with that big beautiful bill, a lot of people lost their health insurance.
Yeah,
because of that.
And there's a lot of people like England, Europe. There's other countries that are cutting aid, because that's exactly the same thing we do. Like in San Francisco, when there's a problem with the budget, we cut funding for nonprofits, when it's the nonprofits that have an actual impact on things like violence and gun violence a lot, because they're getting people off the streets, versus cops, who we directly fund, and we always fund them no matter what budget cuts happen, even though they have a deleterious impact on that.
Yeah, and then we also have RFK as what's his title?
Jesus Christ.
Whatever his title is.
Secretary of Health?
Yes, yeah. Like, and he doesn't believe in vaccines. So if there is something that does happen and it does get here, like, I don't trust that the people in charge are going to do anything responsible.
You know what's funny about the Secretary of Health is, imagine having a Secretary of Health who sounds like he, is one of the, the actors in that smoking commercial. Right. It's like, you are not the picture of health, and I understand that we need to be handy capable and all about ableists or whatever. But like, maybe the Secretary.
He sounds like he smoked a pack a day for like about a good 20 years.
Yes, he does, and it's like, girl, you sound like you literally have an iron lung. And I just don't, like, even just listening to him talk, like, this is not the person who's the Secretary of Health. Who's health?
Right.
Right. Like, that's like having the moose from like the camel from the camel package to be the Secretary of Health.
Joe Camel, exactly.
Joe Camel. The fuck? Let's go to American news. And we are back with American news. All right. See, that it was not like a death topic, so that I can do like a medium tone. You know what I mean? So the IRS is barred from auditing Trump's old tax returns. So the Trump administration and the Justice Department have come to a settlement on a lawsuit brought by Trump when he sued the government for going after his tax returns that he kept not revealing during his presidential runs. The Justice Department, which he controls, by the way, agreed to a settlement to sidestep having to go to court, where the judge asked him to prove that Trump and the government were truly adversaries in this case. So instead of doing that, they settled. And the fund, which will be to help other people who've been hounded, quote unquote, by the government, according to Trump, who initially asked for $10 billion but got $1.6 billion. As a settlement, and then as a result of that settlement, there was a memo sent out that basically to like the government, to the IRS or whatever, that barred the government from ever looking into his tax statements. Democrats tax returns or whatever. Democrats, of course, have said this is corruption.
It is corruption.
Right. With a capital C, underlined, bolded, italics,
right?
italicized. Like,
you can't look at his tax returns at all. Like, what the fuck? It is his Justice Department that like did this. Like, it's so obvious that there's something there that he does not want us to know about. And he's been pretty successful, unfortunately, at like getting his way. But I'm like over this corruption, bro. Like, it's sick. It's just so much.
Is it like there should be another word for corruption when it's so in front of your face that it's like when somebody like does like a drive-by fart and they just leave it directly in front of your face. Like there's you know what I mean? Like, oh my God. Like, so let me get this straight. So you sued we talked about this I think a long time ago, but you sued the government for hounding him about his tax returns. Even though that's what they can do, and they can look at the tax returns, that's legal, whatever. And then the person that he was suing, the Justice Department, which he controls, right? And then when the judge, asked like, let's check and see if you guys are really adversaries, considering the fact that you're suing a department you control, right? Mm-hmm. And then the legal system, we have a legal system that allows them to settle that lawsuit. How that should tell you how our legal system is fucked up. Right. You know what I mean? So then he settles and then takes takes $1.6 billion of our tax dollars. So that's literally, he just walked into like our bank coffers and just took money and just walked out.
$1 billion too, not $1 million.
Yeah,
$1 billion.
Like it is so blatantly corrupt that it was like I didn't even have words. It's
exactly.
It's like he acts like he's a genie and we're the genie and we just gave him 3 wishes. And this is how and then we put in there like what kind of settlement? We are barred from looking at our tax returns forever. Why?
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's been shown that if they did an audit, he would cost him hundred millions of dollars and we'd actually have to whatever. So what lawyer would ever sign up for that? Right. Like we're barred from forever looking at your tax returns.
I know. It's like this
in perpetuity.
And plus, like the other thing is the Supreme Court gave him that immunity clause. So it's not even like, I don't even know how that would play into this, but it's like maybe as long as he's president, he can't do anything wrong. And as long as he's in that office, he's going to do whatever he can to make himself not culpable for all the fuck shit he does.
Well, I guess it's also a factor of this is what happens when the media narrative for the people you care about is coming from a source that's not going to say anything about this.
Right.
Because they will never hear about this. Yeah. And when they hear about it, it's not going to be in the same way. You know what I mean? So literally, it's like he doesn't care about what 80% of the country thinks it even knows, because the people who he does care about, will never hear about it in the way that we hear about it or at all. Yeah.
And the other part about this is the Democrats are so fucking weak. I mean, he has a 30% approval rating right now. Like they have all the wind behind their back, and I don't see none of them doing it.
Because they have a 30% approval rating.
Probably.
You know what I mean? That's the problem. The Democrats are so weak because we're still dealing with Biden and the Democrats don't trust the base because the Democrats are too, encumbered by the corporations as well. Yeah. And so in order for them to be the complete contrast of Trump, you can't be that and be a billionaire's friend. You can't, you know what I mean?
They're just complicit.
Yeah.
They're just like a little more socially conscious, not a lot, but because I don't think they want us to thrive either. They want to stay in power and do whatever they can to oppress us. They just want to be a little nicer about it.
It's just crazy to me. Like, this motherfucker is like this shit. Like, you know, like, I don't know, in the movie, the play Chicago, where they're in the court and like, you know, there's a court case and they're just singing and da da da. I feel like that's what this whole thing is. Where he's like, da 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 da, I'm just gonna take your money. And the IRS Justice Bar's like, yes, you will. We give it to you. Like, did you? This was such a comical farce that it was like a comedy fucking skit. And then, you know, we talked about, like, we just heard of like him and his cronies, Trump and his cronies, just like since the start of the presidency have done like what 350 trades.
Yeah.
And so there's like every trade that every company that went with Trump to China, they have made trades in. They make trades right or before or after he makes announcements.
Yep. Even
though he's in a blind trade, it's like it is so brazen. It's crazy to me.
It's wild.
It's like he doesn't give a fuck.
He doesn't care. Like when is enough gonna be enough?
Yeah, it ain't. You know what I mean? Like, he don't give. It's like, how much money do you need? And the thing is, he don't even. All he does with his money is order McDonald's and Diet Coke. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
how many billions do you and wear bad makeup?
And I just thought about like right after he got elected the second time, he put that Trump coin out, that cryptocurrency, and like got all these people to invest in it, and then they do this thing called a rug pull, where it's like the people that have most of the coins sell basically and take all the money and then leave everybody else just holding the bag.
And yeah, and then there's a billionaire who's suing. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, but it's like, it's greed for greed's sake. Like, why are you putting out a Trump coin when you getting the billion? You know what I mean? It's just like it's literally just like scraping it all in. And then all I said is just so your wife cannot speak to you. I do not understand Jeffrey Epstein. The bitch can't use her money to take the English classes.
Right.
You know what I mean? Even though English is supposed to only be important to these white people in this country. You know what I mean? And then all you do is buy McDonald's and bad makeup. What are you doing with all this money?
It's like, and like some people on the right will say, well, he forfeited his salary as president. It's like, yeah, but he's getting rich doing all this other shit.
Billions of dollars.
Billions. He's made billions.
Like, you know what I mean? They're just making all this money in. And I hate when I see, you know, rich people do money and then they don't do nothing. You have bad style, bad hair. You know what I mean? You ain't even buying good Gucci. You know what I mean? Oh, God. Let's go to break. Go just have all this money and just buy, just like, you know, just look a mess. And we're back with local news. Now, this one, I was really excited to talk about this one because when I fucking read this title, did you have the same kind of feeling? Like the title was like, what the fuck?
I was like, okay, what are we doing here?
All right, so let's get to it. SF wants to stop housing projects from being blocked over shadows. So basically, Supervisor Bilal Mahmoud is preparing to introduce legislation intended to speed up housing approvals by eliminating shadow analysis of the grounds for repeal under the Environmental Quality Act. Yes, you read that right. Shadow analysis. The SHADE Act, which is actually a really, really good name for an act. Like, whoa, whoever came up with that. They, you know, give them,
Chef's
you know
kiss.
what I mean? Because I don't hear a lot of act names. I'm like, you know what? I want that pen.
Right.
But the SHADE Act, dude. So would streamline environmental. It says so much, you know what I mean? Like the shade of the YIMBYs or the NIMBYs. Anyway, the SHADE Act would streamline environmental review procedures that go beyond state requirements. SF is the only major city that has a shadow review. Like, of course it is. Over the last decade, the CEQA appeals involving shadow analysis have led to delaying or installing 2,195 housing units. When an appeal because of a shadow analysis is done, it can add 6 months or more to the process of getting housing approved. While it would save developers from having to do a lengthy appeal, housing commissions still have to take into account a shadow analysis impacts on all new buildings based on a 1984 ballot measure passed when the city was considering the impact of like shadows on the city's open spaces. We will get to that later. I don't understand that at all. Prop K, as it was called back then, and I'm not even going to talk about K. Okay. Requires a planning commission to, before issuing a permit, to build something, they have to determine that the shadow from the building is insignificant based on the park and recreation department. Like, there's so many things to say. Since 2017, 11 appeals of housing have cited the shadow analysis, but eventually all the projects were approved. Do you have motherfucking thoughts?
This is fucking crazy. I did not know about this until you sent it. I'm like, what are we doing here? Shadow analysis? What the fuck? I mean, yo, like, this is only an SF thing. Like, this is something that only SF politics would approve. I mean, it's, first of all, the earth is moving, it's spinning, like the shadows are going to change. Like why are we not building project housing, needed housing over some shadows?
It's like the article just, it was like, this is why sometimes I like the podcast just hits, because like when I read this is I want to talk about this.
Right.
Like, what the fuck are we talking about here? So you're telling me that there has been a law on the books since 1984 that says that we have to look at the shadow analysis of a building and before we get a building. Now I can understand if this was a shadow analysis on parks or whatever,
right,
but like the shadow analysis, like from 19, first of all, like, one, anybody who's lived in San Francisco for a long time knows that like only recently do we get so much sun as we have. Normally we get no really fucking sun.
Yeah.
So what fucking shadow, bitch? It's normally fog all the fucking time. What shadow are you talking? Thank you.
Yeah.
Where do you get shadow? What microclimate are you talking about shadow, bitch?
Right.
And then two, this was passed in 1984. This was before AIDS. You know what I mean? That's how old this was. This law has grid.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, why is this law still affecting us as it was passed in night? We haven't done a revamp of laws that have been passed since maybe the 80s that might be affecting housing in a place where we don't have any housing.
Exactly.
Like, the fact that this is still on the books is crazy. This is why, like, when I say we need more parties in California, and we need, like, I won't even say Republican, but like a conservative party, like a party that is literally based on like wants smaller or limited government, because that kind of party we bringing this shit up all
kind of like a libertarian party,
yeah, or something. Because the fact that it's now this year that somebody is trying to, and they're not even trying to get the law because that would have to go on the ballot or whatever. They're actually trying to get this measure. I guess I don't know why they're not trying to get the whole thing redone, because why are we just talking about the review?
Yeah, I mean, there was a building that they talked about in Soma, and they were like arguing to not build it because it was going to put a shadow over Mint Plaza. I'm like, Mint Plaza? That is not even like a park or like...
Who goes to Soma for a shadow? The
right.
only shadow you see is somebody's butthole in Soma. Like, ain't no goddamn. This is a major city, a major metropolitan city, and we talk about sun, and it, like, not even over parks or something
right.
like that. We talk about, like, girl, what sun in this? I cannot fucking believe that this shit is on the. This is the shit. This is the reason why we can't build anything. This is the reason why it takes forever. And not only do we have dumbass laws on here about like not building shadows and some bullshit, you can put a review. You can add 6 months to a year to a project just by appealing. You know what I mean? Like, this is why we need more parties in California, like in San Francisco. This is why one party, because you need parties to bring you from going too far. Because what the fuck is going? Like, I wasn't here in 1984, and a lot of other people aren't because of AIDS. Mm-hmm. But like, all I know is there has been a lot of changes since 1984, and the fact that we have a law on the books from 1984 that directly impacts housing and the speed at which it gets done, and we haven't reviewed it.
I guarantee you, like, this is not a quality of life thing. Like, because if this law was not on the books, nobody would even fucking notice.
Right. And like, I want to know, like, like this article talks about that it's affected 2,195 units because of all the appeals. But like, it says in there that the planning commission has to give a permit. It has to take into account the shadow analysis, and the Parks and Recreation Department has to say it's insignificant. So how many fucking, things have not even gotten that? Right. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and what does that even look like? And the process of getting that, you have to go and get a shadow permit from, every single step like that adds probably months. And so, because I'm sure there's one motherfucking person in the Parks and Recreation Department that is the shadow analysis expert.
Like the park I thought about was Salesforce Park, because that's like right down kind of in the, Soma area.
Right.
And there's so many tall buildings around that. I'm like, how did that get approved? Like,
I want to know where the sun is so fucking much that we need a shadow analysis. Because I'll fucking be there because we ain't got no motherfucking sun.
Yeah, it's like, it's like a handful of days a year where it's actually really nice here.
Yeah.
And it's not a big deal. This is fucking ridiculous.
I just, like, my God. Yes, we need the motherfucking Shade Act. And the Shade Act should have some kind of appendix where we can go in and take this whole fucking thing off. I cannot fucking believe that buildings have to go through a fucking shadow analysis to get fucking built, and we ain't got no goddamn housing in this motherfucking city. And then we want to tell the state not to take it away from us. Take it away from us.
Yeah.
Because the state don't got no goddamn shade analysis. Why does San Francisco, the fucking city with one of the least amount of sun, got a shade analysis?
Right. Like, if this was San Diego or LA or something like that, I could maybe like see the argument, but it's like here.
Right. I can't. Let's go to pop culture news. And we're back with pop culture news. This one is interesting. So Anukyai, fierce African British Vogue, or fierce black model for British Vogue. She got a cover of British Vogue for June 26, 2026, and she was photographed by Raphael Pavarotti. And so this one isn't an article review, but it's a Reddit review, right? So basically, the Reddit review is that, like, you know, this extremely beautiful model, supermodel of African descent, got with very dark skin, was featured on the cover of British Vogue. And while a lot of people are celebrating, you know, her being on the cover, dark-skinned woman, you know, along with her story, which we can talk about later, right, her health journey, there's been a lot of discussion about the use of contrast in the picture and how kind of they basically washed her out, gave her this alien look. They do that to a lot of black models, and it's kind of like this black mannequin effect, which I personally have seen.
Yes.
Yeah, when they do black models or whatever. So I want to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, the pictures, I mean, if you just look at what she's wearing, I mean, some of it shit is fly, you know, but the way that they, like, she just looks like it's not even like she's there.
You can't even see her. You see the eyes. You like, they wash out all her features because of the contrast. Like,
and you know, I don't know why they keep doing this, because like you said, there's other black models that have experienced this. Like, black models go into shoots and they bring their own hair person because they've gone into other shoots where they couldn't get their hair together because the people that are there to do that don't know how to work with black women. And it's just a problem in this industry. Like, I don't know why it's still a thing, but the lighting is absolutely horrible in these pictures. And I wish that, you know, we were able to see how beautiful she is.
Yeah, I think it speaks like a lot to what you're saying. It speaks to like representation versus like equality in the representation, right?
Yeah.
Like, and then like what equity or equality and representation looks like in terms of, like, you know, you have very few black models, but you have black models. But when you do, you're trying to like make the skin color so prominent that you've dehumanized them. You know what I mean? That it's all about, oh, I have a black model, but do you see them as beautiful, or are you just trying to have a black skin on there? And you know what I mean? And like because they don't do that with other skin tones. It's like if to do that with a white woman, you'd have that woman would look like, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh or something like that. Look like on, you know what I mean? But and so it's like it's cool because Grace, you know, you do it with Grace Jones and Grace, you know, blah blah blah. But it's when it's done to everyone, you know, all black women, or to every dark-skinned black woman, is done. You know what I mean? Like, look it up. Look up the pictures of, like, you know, on this and other dark women when they do these. It's like it does. You can't even see their features. It's so about their skin color that you can't even see them.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like, everybody comes in a different skin tone. So when you're working with models that have darker skin, you got to be able to highlight like who they actually are. I mean, you booked them because you want them to be representative of your magazine.
It just speaks to like how they see them. Like, do you see them as beautiful black women, or do you just see dark black skin?
Right.
And you can then say, "Oh, I put black skin on my magazine."
That,
you know
that
what I mean?
part,
because like that, like the person who made like what they did to Anukyai in this photo shoot, that wasn't sexy.
No.
You know what I mean? They weren't trying to highlight her feminine curves. They weren't trying to highlight her body. They just wanted, they had a dark skin. It wasn't even beautiful. It was sick, but you couldn't even see her fucking face to tell if she was beautiful. You know what I mean?
I know. It's like, you know, a lot of times black people get tokenized.
Yeah.
And like you said, they just want to be able to say that, oh, well, no, we had this black model on our cover, you know, but it's like, how did you treat her? Did you really highlight her beauty and what her essence? Like, no. Like, these pictures, like I said, some of the looks, like the actual like clothes,
Are fierce.
I like, yeah, exactly. But it's like how they got her looking in them. It's like you can't even see her.
Yeah, and it also just like it just speaks to, I think, like, yeah, how you want to represent black people, how you want them to be represented, and I think it also just speaks to like how, you know, a trend or like, you know, something over time is really important when you're talking about representation and the quality of the representation, because you know how you represent people, you know what I mean, and then how that the image that it builds over time is really important, right? And it can show, you know, like there's equity, and there's a lot of different types of equity is what I'm really trying to say in representation. So it really shows like where the fight is, because you can see that they're not showing and seeing and valuing black women and black skin and the women in that skin, you know what I mean, as the same as other women, just by the way that they are coloring them as other, you know what I mean? And that's what we got to fight. But on the flip side, you know what I mean, you've got the putting a black woman on the cover of British Vogue versus like regular Vogue. Why? Which is why I don't like. Why is old ass Anna Wintour? You know what I mean? Like Anna Wintour's right up there with me with Trump and them old ass bitch. Like retire. You know what I mean? Like RPG. Oop. Or Diane Feinstein. Oop. You know what I mean? But like that bitch is putting the Kardashians and fucking. You know what I mean? Like what is it? What is that bitch's name? Jeff Bezos, Lawrence Sanchez on the cover, and at least they're putting a guy with her. You know what I mean? In Africa, a black model, and then her her story that you were talking about, right?
Yeah, I mean, like where she was born in. I forget. I'm so sorry for forgetting, but yeah, she's been around the world. She got discovered in Howard University, and yeah, I mean, it's like
she just had that health journey, right? Where she like was had all these health issues. Like read the article. So like having her on the cover and having that be her story and having a black woman, or what I mean, is all cool. But then it's also like a conversation we can talk about the equity of that representation, right? Well, the long term trends of how they're being seen.
And the other thing is like these photos went through, I'm sure, several review processes to get on there, and everybody was like, okay, like like this is why you need black people in the room, and
black people, like other people, like questioning what the like questioning in the editing room and the figure room, and then also black people just questioning the images on the outside,
and black photographers.
And
I don't know
black photographers.
I don't know if this guy's black. I mean, Raphael
Pavarotti,
don't sound black.
Right? You don't sound black. I mean, but I would like someone to say Pavarotti when they're eating my butthole.
Okay, all right.
You know what I mean? Like just those those kind of things. Ambidextrous. Say that when you're eating my butthole. I was like, I was saying abracadabra. He was like, and I felt the magic. Ooh. And with that, let's go to the protest section where I talk about examples of protests. And we're back with the protest section. Let's see. In Kenya, they've been having a protest last week. Nationwide protests erupted over sharply rising fuel prices, which is interesting because we probably caused that.
Yeah, I think we got something to do with that.
Jesus. Thanks, Trump. At least 4 people were killed and 30 injured during public transport strikes and street demonstrations. Hundreds of people were arrested. So we definitely support protests in Kenya. I mean, Jesus Christ, especially if we're fucking one of the factors that caused it. Jesus. Right. And then we say we have no impact on the world. Yeah. And then let's move on to the positive news section where we talk about some positive things that happened in the week. An 18-year-old student developed a completely dissolving plastic alternative. Medical researchers also published new findings on the full spectrum cognitive and physical health benefits of dance.
Oh,
definitely gonna put that in the notes. I love to dance, honey, and I've been telling people like dance is life for me. Dance is God. Dance is
therapy for me.
It's therapy. It's everything. If you ever see me dancing hard, I'm working out something. Probably you, bitch. And then also that's actually it. That's it for the positive news section. And that is the end of our show, ladies and gentle fucks. Stay tuned after the news recap for the second part interview with Beverly fucking Chills. If you haven't seen the first part, stop now in the name of my podcast and go and watch that first part and then come watch the second. Probably gonna get copyright because that was horrible. Anyway, you watch the second part after you watch the first part. Thank you, Jason, for being here.
Oh, you're welcome.
It was really fucking fun. We talked about some crazy shit tonight, like that fucking shade act. That guy, you know what I mean?
Girl, like, I was so glad you sent that because I was just like, what the fuck? It makes me want to think about what other laws are on the books that just archaic, like it's nonsense. What the fuck?
Like we know one that we just got. Was it the one about not having sex clubs and SF?
Oh yeah,
since the AIDS crisis, right? And it took COVID to get rid of that, and we still don't have a sex club in SF. Yeah. Ugh. Anyway, as always, remember to post when I basically follow me so you'll know when I post new shows. Remember to listen, rate, share, and laugh. Hope you're following the new YouTube WhenInRome, still WhenInRome on any other podcast in places where you stream your podcast audio wise. And as always, keep it sassy, San Francisco. Ciao, ciao.
Goodbye.
That was a sex voice again. And we are back, everyone. Hi, it is I, Ramon, with the amazing Beverly Chills, who's been giving me chills all night. And we are here with the second part of When in Rome, the podcast with the interview. Let's get back to it.
Yes.
All righty. Sorry, I forgot to start my damn clock stopwatch. All right, so What's we were just talking about like you DJing and getting to that kind of like those questions when we ended part one. So I have a question there, kind of in that area. What's one hard thing about DJing?
Um, I would say I think like the limitations, you know, kind of just like not being so sure of like what you're getting yourself into when it's a new venue and you don't know. You have to ask so many questions to make sure that you are
Set up, bro.
set up right and actually being taken care of and like appreciated for the artist that you are, because it's like some people will just see you as a DJ and not an artist,
Right.
you know.
And so you have to ask a lot of questions about like, what type of sound and
Yeah,
equipment
what
and
kind of equipment and all that stuff. And it's like, if I could recommend anything, and this is like also such like a projection too, because it's something that I kind of fall short on sometimes, because we're all human, just trying to navigate this crazy thing we call life, blah blah blah.
well, of course.
But like a Google like doc or a notes app of just like pre set questions that you're gonna ask whatever like vendor that is gonna
That would be a
hire you.
recommendation. Like
Yeah,
if you
or
were a
booking
DJ, like have
agent.
that preset so you can just send it to them. Hey, I want to book you. You're like, oh, I'm interested with, and then you just send them these, answer these questions, and I'll get back to you.
This is my rate. Also, like this is like my preferred set time,
Right.
because I've done this. I deserve that.
Right.
You know?
You have to tell yourself and explain why you want the set time, yada yada yada. So I'm kind of hearing you have to kind of like definitely be like your biggest cheerleader, right?
Yeah, most definitely. And sometimes that's hard because it kind of feels like we live in a very hyper individualistic world that like if you don't think that you're the shit, other people are going to tell you that you're not the shit. And if you think that you're the shit and you know that you're the shit and you're telling other people that you're the shit through just by being the shit,
Like that, you'll be the shit.
yeah, of course. And that will bring its own like purveyors of like weirdos trying to like hate or like knock you down or like love bomb you in a really weird way or like stick on to you and kind of just like use you for like who they see you as and what you can be of service for them for, if that makes sense.
Yeah. My mom used to always say that like the brighter you shine, the more you're gonna have people like moths to the flame who are just gonna try to attach themselves to you, and they're gonna like they're gonna fuck you over, blah blah. You're not gonna understand why, and it's just gonna be they just want to be they're moths to a flame. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're willing to burn themselves out to get to you, and you just have to be able to protect yourself and see the signs or whatever. And
you have to read between the lines too, and you have to kind of just like see people's like you have to see people's actions before you hear people's words.
Yeah.
Because words are so easy to just like throw out and like word vomit, but like I want to see you ride for me. If you're telling me that you ride for me, I want to see it too.
Yeah, especially like I imagine as a DJ because you're dealing with a lot of like promises. It's a handshake deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Are you gonna pay? Are you paying me on time? Are you
A
paying
lot
me
of
the
verbal
rate?
shit that like you can't then like I have the screen like it's and bitch, I am the screenshot queen. I'm sorry, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah. You have to
do it.
Yeah, you got to do it when you get paid. You know what I mean? They shouldn't have to make you do
it. The fuck
it.
of it all sometimes is that like when like you're promised something that's a verbal contract or something, there's no audio message that you can just like remember from your brain that you can spit out.
Right.
Yet, you never know with like fucking techies. But
Hello. So what's the biggest place or person you open for or performed?
I mean, Chaperone in November was like really fab, really bombastic, and
how did that come about?
Literally just like the week or two before, my friend Steven, who works with a club called Ronda and has a party here in SF called Squish, hit me up and said, "Hey, are you available for this thing in LA? It's for Ronda. You're going to be opening. It's for like this really big performer." And I'm like, "Yeah."
You're like, "Yeah, here's my checklist."
Well, my checklist at the time was just get me the fuck out of San Francisco. So I was just like so like I was in a really bad place at that time. I was kind of like not knowing like what I was doing with my life. I was dealing with like a lot of like financial instability. Like I said previously in part one, I take care of my mom. My mom lives with me, so I was really in my head as far as like I don't know any of the answers to the questions of like my own suffering, you know? And so I was kind of just like in a really weird place. And thankfully, Steven reached out and was just like, he gave me a reason to kind of get out of this bubble.
Yeah,
that I
nothing
was
gets
in
you out of a
for
funk like
second,
having it
you know?
open for Chapel Roan. You know what I mean? That would
Hey.
brighten my day right on up. I'd be
And
like,
you-
whoa, let me put some hairspray on. Oh, woo, get a coffee.
Let's go to that pink pony
And a
club.
scone. I can afford it.
Right, exactly. So we trucked down to Pasadena and we performed at the Rose Bowl Friday, Saturday, and it was super fabulous. I got to meet Betsy Johnson
Oh, wow.
and her granddaughter, her lesbian granddaughter, which was super fierce. And then I met Pedro Pascal.
Okay.
I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to say at all. So, like, the only thing that came out of my mouth was, I loved you in Buffy. And it was like, yeah, that was 30 years ago. And I was like, still, I loved that.
I mean,
I'm 31, so.
thank you. Right. Like, oh, so you know, 30 years ago, I would give you a better compliment, but not even, I'm joking.
No, yeah, 30 years ago, I would have Goo Goo Gaga. And guess what?
Yeah.
Pedro Pascal, I would Goo Goo Gaga again.
Yeah.
If you want.
Where do you want to perform that you haven't performed?
I really want to do Europe.
Okay.
I really want to do like some like fun like London stuff. I just like I've been watching a lot of like like the show Industry on HBO. And I feel like that kind of like club scene sounds really fun.
Okay.
I also really want to do Paris. So I obviously like Berlin would be a really fun like moment too. That's like an obvious like response.
Checkbox, yeah.
I also like I kind of want to do like different places in America too. I want to go back to Austin. I haven't DJed in Austin or actually performed or anything in Austin. I went there once for Austin City Limits in 2019.
Yeah.
But
Which one was that? Because I went to Austin City Limits.
that was with Casey Musgraves, Robin, Lizzo, Tame
mine was
Impala,
with
Billie Eilish.
Mine was with Megan, Tyler the Creator,
Fuck yeah.
and Miley Cyrus. Other people, yeah.
Or
It's fierce.
Okay.
Okay, so what do you have coming up?
what do I have coming up?
Coming
Okay,
up,
so I am going to be playing. I mean, this weekend. When is this coming out?
In like 2 or 3 weeks, though.
2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Let me check my calendar
ahead,
in my brain. Is my phone over there?
I think it's right below you, right there. Isn't it right? Oh,
That's my vape. I have a lot of shit. So, hello, we're still here, and we're back. May 1st, I'm doing Hard Reset. It's an all-femme lineup. And don't you just love an alphabetical calendar?
I love it.
Lineup. So it's me, Belis, Chanel, Milton, Dell, who we love. Dell is a part of a collective, East Bay Mean Girls.
Okay.
Just super fabulous.
Okay.
Just finish her and Mnemonics.
Okay.
And then Jackie's going back to back with Pluto, Jay Little, who's super fab. Mama San, who does Queen Out. We love Mama San so fucking much. Nomi and V-Rock, who does Electric Bump at Monarch. So it's super cute. This is going to be with Hard Reset.
Okay, May 1st.
May 1st at FA.
And I'll drop the flyer in the podcast.
And then also, like, you can always just check my linked, my links in bios.
Your link tree or whatever. I'll drop that in there as well. And then one more question before we go to break. What advice do you have for up-and-coming DJs? You kind of mentioned...
Stop.
You mentioned the
Take a break.
checklist. Is there anything else?
Yeah, take a Xanax and like fall asleep. No, I mean just go at your own pace. Like, don't think that because everyone from your point of view, it may seem like everyone's succeeding and you're not. Just really like sit with who you are. Don't ever forget who you are. Your special sauce is what makes this like community salad a really good dressing. So just like really go slow, and it might feel too slow for you, but everything is kismet, and everything happens right when it's needed to happen. So keep doing the work, of course, and like keep like go present yourself 100% authentically as yourself, but
And
like
take care of yourself.
Just take care of yourself along the way. Don't lose yourself.
Yeah, that's a good, really good end. Not end, but part 2. Go to break. We can still take care of ourselves, and we'll be back. And we're back from break. Here for the last part of one of the best interviews we've had so far with Beverly Chin.
Oh, right.
All right. So we were talking about you gave some great advice for being an upcoming DJ. Find yourself. Now let's move on to some other things. What hobbies do you have?
So I paint on canvas with acrylic usually. I do like oil, but it's expensive.
Okay.
But yeah, I paint portraits. It's really hard sometimes, kind of just like set everything up and just like sit down and do it. But once I do it, like I finish it within a week. It's like amazing.
That's cool.
And then I make a lot of like fun and crazy food for me and my mom at home. Kind of just like
what is your favorite food to make?
I really love making like fun quesadillas for her. She loves like a quesadilla, just like with like all like the fixings and stuff. And kind of just being really like fun and experimental, like, but like
the fun and experimental scares me a little. You know what I mean?
Also,
I'm like
with my complexion too, like I probably don't have the best. Our people don't have the best track record with being experimental.
Hence, I'm a little scared.
When I say quesadilla, yeah, exactly.
I'm wondering what's on those motherfuckers. I'm wondering what fun means in the Beverly. That would be funny. You should have a cooking show.
Don't you love celery in your quesadilla?
Yeah, you should have a cooking show. The Beverly Hills cooking show.
No quesadilla.
Making quesadillas. I would love it. I'd watch. It would be very interesting.
Follow the Finsta.
And your fucking mom can be coming on it and be like, "No, that's not what you put in it." Oh my god, it would be. I can see it. Look at that.
It would just be her being like, "What's the tea, bitch?"
See, I love that you're already taking it. You're already taking it. If that comes out in the next 2 years, I thought of it first.
Right. I'll give you 10%. I'll give you 10% of the food.
Hey, yeah, I'll take it until actually, let me see first what you mean by fun in the kitchen, and then we'll go, right?
My pantry. Mother Hubbard.
Hello. Okay, so another question. Let's move on to your transition. When did that happen?
So I started transitioning in 2020.
Okay.
We were all like in our like own like super bubbles.
Yeah.
With like
COVID
and like quarantining and sheltering in place and stuff. So we had a lot of time to like kind of just sit with ourselves and like really think of like who we are,
yeah.
You know, who we want to be and all that stuff. And so that kind of just like helped zone it in a lot. And then once things started opening up again, I kind of like hit the ground running with it, like thinking about it like with some time and some perspective. I feel like I went really fast with a lot of it. So I'm kind of like slowing down and like finding more of like a pace that feels more connective to me. Like my pronouns are she, they. And so like I really love harnessing both like the feminine traits as much as the masculine traits, because this whole like gender politics era that we're like running into is very like hyper anti men in a certain way, and like there's a lot of like valid reasons why, of course, but I feel like there's both feminine and masculine traits in everyone, whether you're cisgender, transgender, any of the like identities. And I think that to not embrace and respect both dualities is kind of a disservice to oneself. So I'm kind of just like feeling that with.
I personally think that there's like masculine and feminine is generally just a gender binary, because I feel like like I see, you know, hard and softs in both, you know what I mean? And you know what I mean?
And I see beauty in both.
Yeah, you see beauty in both, and I see, you know what I mean, like down, except for like some like chromosomal things, you know what I mean, like there's really no difference, you know what I mean, in terms of when we're talking about things like soft, you know what I mean, assertive, dominant, submissive, blah blah, you know what I mean? So I just find that like the masculine, feminine, and those juxtapositions really just change based on who you were with and what you are at the time. You know what I mean?
And how you wake up
Yeah,
in the morning,
right.
you know.
Okay, next question. Did drag impact your trans journey?
I think it inspired it,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah. When I started my transition, it kind of like clocked me ever so fiercely that I was kind of transitioning into the like aesthetic and character that I built my drag persona as.
Well, I always say that with drag queens, I can tell when they're trans because it starts out in drag,
Yeah.
and then they start to stay in drag longer, and then their drag starts to get softer and softer and softer and more realistic. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden,
on their off days, they come in with like some
yeah,
some CC cream, a
yes,
concealer,
yes, yes,
and a mascara,
yeah,
like
and it just starts to
a
blend
curled
together,
lash.
and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden it's you know what I mean? Like you can kind of see it, right?
Yeah.
I can definitely see, I can like
The meeting of the mind.
yeah, you can see the journey. All right, you're dealing with so an aging relative, and you know you mentioned your mom. What is that like?
Yeah.
So taking care of her?
It's, you know, I when we were doing the Q&A on paper, like I introed it with that it's rough. I don't really agree with that actually, because it's like there are rough times. It's tough, I would say, but it's ultimately rewarding because what my experience is super rare, and that's why I sometimes find trouble in finding resonance and like understanding with it. And sometimes I feel lost. I don't have all the answers, of course, but it's super rare, and it's something that I need to embrace more and find more grace and appreciation for, because not a lot of queer people have such a strong connection with their mother like I do. And the great thing about my mom and having her live with me is that she's my friend's mom too. And like I just had a birthday a few weeks ago, and when we had her there, it just like felt almost like a Mama Chill's meet and greet in like a really fun way, because she just was
chill.
If you even just sit next to my mom, you will hear 5 stories in 5 minutes. It's beautiful. Like that bitch can run her mouth, and that's where I get it from. And I love her so much, and I'm really grateful for this experience, as difficult as it may be. Sometimes it feels like we're living on top of each other. I'm also like in like the prime of my life as far as like wanting to
Your career,
experience my career, experience like my sexuality too. Like, you know, like I can't.
This new hair.
No, totally. I always have new hair. And so do you.
Thank you.
I can't necessarily host. You know what I mean? So like, there's a lot of like traveling, and she gets scared when I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go see like a guy. Like he's visiting from out of town.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go see him at the Beacon Grand. I'll see you in a sec. And she's like, oh, I'm just like worried for you, because I have had run-ins in the past with like sexual assault and stuff like that. I'm like a very open book with my mom too. So
yeah, I mean, let's we kind of talk about that. You did have, first of all, before the sexual assault, you had an experience where you were kind of just like verbally attacked while DJing, right?
I was physically attacked.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was in 2023. No, I think that was in 2024 actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was at the Eddy Street After.
Okay.
And I have a really good appreciation for them. Like, let's just preface that right now, because it took a long-ish time to get there, but I do have a huge appreciation for the team that I had a problem with in this moment. But yeah, it was just like there was a lack of security, and like this one guy was just like super weird and like was pestering me while I was spinning, and then like he started attacking me while I was DJing. And
you're like, I'm trying to make magic.
I'm trying to
You know
make
what I mean?
magic.
I'm trying to make fucking magic.
Yeah,
What's wrong with
and
you?
you're shit in the bed.
Right. My God. You don't even know you don't even know the BPM. Thank you.
Right.
Okay, so actually, you have some questions for me?
How was this? Did you have fun?
Oh yeah, it was really, really, really
Yeah.
fun. I mean, we've oscillated around each other. We've gotten closer and closer recently, but
Yeah.
I really feel like I know a lot more about you.
Yeah,
Been great.
we've been in each other's orbit for like years.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
for us to like continue to get closer, then also just like having like a really good bandwidth as far as like just connecting and like having a good conversation, and it not just like, I feel like I have a real it's been feeling like I have an upward battle with trying to feel understood and like not even just like respected or acknowledged in like the like gay circuit after party Castro-y like umbrella community. But I feel really happy finding resonance with you.
Yeah, I think you're fierce. And if I think you're fierce, then you're fierce.
Then I don't give a shit about any of y'all.
I'm the moment.
Because she's the Rome.
And so are you.
Yeah.
And this has been When in Rome. This is Beverly Chills.
Hi.
I'm Romahan. We love you. Keep it sassy, San Francisco. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for
It was
having
great.
me. It was so much fun.
Ciao, ciao.